All right. Welcome back to On the Half Turn podcast. This is episode 51. I think it's our 8th World Cup episode. You may or may not have heard intro music. We'll see if we get at it here. I'm working on a different laptop. That's why I feel like I kind of look green and my background looks all weird. I don't know. What's up, Chad?
What's going on? It looks like you're a green screen.
I am a green. Like, I'm not. It'd be like I'm a green screen, but like also part of the green screen. As if the green screen like went over the top of me. I just noticed this too, as I was about to ask you that we're both wearing France jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, like
You should wear your Diego Maradona Argentina jersey.
Oh, I was thinking, I'm not sure if I had a Argentina jersey, but that one's at home. You could have wore it.
Yeah, I'm a little snug in your jersey. Yeah, just a little snug. What are you wearing though?
I wore this a few episodes ago. You know, when you get past 50 episodes, you start to run through your jerseys again. So I need to re-up. But it's Pogba, number 19 on the back, I guess, when he first started playing with the national team, maybe.
So that was probably 2016 Euros. Like, that was before the World Cup.
Nah, this wasn't Euro-style jersey, I don't think. Maybe it was before, maybe 2015.
Wow, that's OG. That's some Juve Pogba right there.
Yeah.
That's before Pogba. I'm rocking a France warm-up kit from I believe it was the Euros in 2021. So Euro 2020 is like their warm-up kit with like the speckles on it and stuff. Got the rooster and chicken, whatever. It's pretty fresh. I like it. So, yeah. So this is 2 days before the final, France-Argentina. So like we're just gonna kind of preview it. It might not be that long of an episode, but I figured we'll get some content out here and then we'll do another podcast kind of recapping our thoughts as a whole of the World Cup and moving forward. But maybe this is 20 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes. So where do you want to start?
Yeah, so obviously France, Argentina in the final. Mm-hmm. Argentina beating Croatia. What was it? What end? 3-0, right? It's been a few days now. Then it was France beating Morocco 2-0. These teams met in the last World Cup, and the game ended 4-3. So
you sure it wasn't 4-2?
I think it was 4-3. I think Argentina got one at the end.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I thought the final was 4-2. It might have been 4-3, and Argentina scored in like garbage time. Yeah, that was the quarterfinals.
Was it quarters or round of 16?
I think it was the quarterfinal, and then France beat Belgium in the semifinal.
Yeah, so that was the game where like Pavard had that. I think it might have been goal of the tournament. That was the game.
Yeah.
So we can hop into it. Start talking about like what we expect from each team tactically, player selection. Because there's some news coming out now that there's a little bit of a bug going around the France team. And
yeah, I heard Konate. So Rabiot didn't start the semifinal, who's normally been starting it in the midfield, and he had this like flu sickness. Apparently, Konate has it. Upamecano has it. I don't know. There's somebody else that might have had it. So just keep killing Mbappe in his own bubble, and it should be all right.
Yeah. So, obviously, Rabiot, Upamecano didn't play against Morocco, but now Konate and Varane both have it. It's big news out because those are two starting center backs.
Yeah.
And we were watching the France, and who was their quarterfinal game against? England, yeah. We were saying Upamecano didn't he steps too much. He steps a little too high too much. And a few times Kane got on the other side of him. Remember the one where got fouled right outside the box? They didn't call it. They went to VAR, but they couldn't call it a PK because it was right outside the box. And that was one of 3 times when Upamecano stepped out and got caught out. And so they brought Konate in against Morocco, and I thought Konate was probably better. He's a little bit more solid. You won't get exposed really as much as Upamecano out there. So maybe Upamecano comes back in because no Konate. So they're in a little bit of a situation right now with their center backs.
Yeah, Upamecano was like kind of all over the place. Like he didn't know like when to step. He was like throwing bodies when he shouldn't have. But then he also steps, makes a great tackle, and starts the counterattack that leads to their goal. Was their goal? Yeah, I think so. That got the ball down there and then eventually dropped it back, and then Tuchemeni finished it against England. So like it kind of shows his value, and maybe that's just the difference. Like I still think Upamecano has like on his day world class ability, but like he plays in a different system. He played in the Leipzig system. He plays in the Bayern system now with Nagelsmann, where like that's who he is. And you know, if you're going to be a team that's like conservative and defending and like low energy, like maybe it's just not the team for you. And I think that's what France has been. Other than that, obviously, like we said, Rabiot didn't play in the semifinal. They didn't really miss a beat there. It's been pretty much the same. Like Jules Koundé kind of staying at home as the right back, and then Theo Hernandez kind of getting forward as the left back there, supporting Mbappe. It's hard to like predict the lineup. Like we can't go on here and predict the lineup if they're going public about news that Varane, Konate, and Upamecano all have the flu. Like that's crazy. I will say, so when I was being recruited to play college soccer, I went to like a bunch of games, like to watch them play, go on visits and stuff. And I remember like me and Dad were talking about how like the styles of the teams, and like college soccer is a bit ugly, right? Like some teams just like to defend. And there was one team that I saw play a few times just by chance that like every time I went to a college, they were playing against this one team. And I saw the other team that I was being recruited by also play a couple times. And both teams, I thought, like defended really well, but just sat behind the ball. So I was joking that the two teams I saw play, I was like, Dad, like, what are they going to do? Just kick the ball off and then just go defend on like their separate sides of the field? Because like neither of them are just, neither of them want the ball. And I feel like that's this game. Like maybe like Argentina can have like a bit more of the ball, but dude, they are so boring. They're so slow. France is okay giving you the ball because they're just better. They have the better players, so they're just going to roll out and win a game. And if they want to dominate the ball, they can. If they want to expend more energy than they need to, they can. If not, they'll sit tight and like wait for you to make a mistake, wait for Mbappe to take on two guys to advance the ball to the other end of the field rather than having to work it up methodically. So I would say that this game could be very boring. It could be very slow. It could be very like defensive and like no one like overextending themselves.
No, yeah, you're right with that. That it could be a pretty boring game, which sucks. But
all finals kind of suck, to be honest.
Hey, they did play the 4-3 last World Cup, and the last World Cup final ended 4-2. So
in both games, France was down 1-0. France was down 1-0 to Argentina in that game. They were down 1-0 to Croatia in that game as well, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Argentina won't be, like, too upset if, like, they have the ball, right? Like, they'll like you said, they're boring. So, like, they'll just knock it around. They won't do anything crazy with the ball. Some people are saying that they might start a 3 in the back, which they might have featured that at some point in the tournament. But I expect them to play at 4. Maybe they bring in maybe they start. They're going to have to start someone a little bit more solid in the midfield because Montiel for Argentina likes to get up in the attack. And if they want to risk it, throw him up there, then the center mid's got to come and cover, right? Because, who's on the French left side is Mbappe, and he's not doing much defending.
Yeah, and it won't be – McAllister's normally been playing like that left center mid, so it's not going to be him. It's going to be Enzo and Fernandez in the middle. And then, probably Paredes on the right, I guess.
Or you got DePaul. So DePaul's probably the guy that like does the running. And with this Argentina team, you can just tell like everyone's a warrior, bro. Did you see the block that Otamendi had? There's a shot right at the top of the box. I forget who it was against. Might have been Croatia. Ball comes in. He puts his hands behind his back, and as a volley's coming straight at him, he goes to block it with his face. Like he does not care. Like this, that just shows like this team they'll do everything. Like I think they just do everything to fight for Messi. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's like very instinctual to block a shot like that too. Like, because I would think of like getting out of the way, but that dude like stick his head in there. Yeah, I agree.
they're
And, like,
nuts.
they're totally okay just doing whatever they have to do for Messi.
Yeah, they do it for Messi. They're like, this guy's going to carry us to a World Cup final. We just got to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, Messi played fantastic against Croatia.
That's pretty much what it is. It's like if it's DePaul or somebody on that like right center mid, like he's there to be Messi's guy. Like Messi doesn't feel like defending, I'll cover you, bro. Like you want the ball, Messi, I'll pass you the ball, bro. Like it's that, and it's not that exciting. I mean, the storylines are great. Like there's been rumors like, oh, what if Messi just retires after winning this World Cup? Like it'd be a great way to go out. And like, yeah, he got the one World Cup final. Like that's cool. Like if he wins one, like that'd be pretty awesome. I've never been like a Messi fan. I've never like felt any like connection to him. So like I guess it doesn't really matter to me if he wins one or not. Like personally, I'm rooting for France. I sound like this isn't a great argument here, but everyone has like a top player that they really like. You know, if Ronaldo does something good, you see everybody post about it. Like all the Ronaldo fans. If Messi does something good, everyone posts about it. If you know, there's always like the Ronaldinho guys. Like I feel like my guy might be Mbappe. He's like my favorite of all of these big names. Mbappe and Neymar are like two of my favorites, and Haaland, I guess, are my favorite big time players. So like when Mbappe does well, I genuinely enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm a big Messi fan, so I want to see Messi win. But I'm also in a pool where if France win, I win $200. So then it's like, who do I want to win? Like you could look at it from like lose or win.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Kinda. So yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I forget.
But so like we'll get back to the game in a sec. To be honest, this might sound like a hot take. These knockout round games have been not that satisfying to watch at all, right? Like. It genuinely sucks that Croatia beat Brazil. It was one, lucky, and two, like nobody wanted to see Croatia in that game. It ruined the game. They were out of gas, they were out of legs, they generally weren't good enough to be in that semifinal game. And Brazil was good enough. And a moment of magic from Neymar, should have got him there. They just didn't, solidify the game there. But everybody wanted that Argentina-Brazil game. That would have been one for the books. Like people would have talked about it forever. Like, oh, remember that Brazil-Argentina semifinal? There probably would have been 22 yellow cards and like 3 reds.
I was gonna say I agree with that. That game would have been awesome, but you're kind of like taking away from like what Croatia did. Like,
nah, what did they do? Who did they beat? Like, they beat anybody good? Like, they got. There's a lot of things that go into luck, but I would say that they got lucky against Brazil. They didn't deserve to be in that game and to advance. I just think they're I don't know. They just didn't appeal to me. And then Argentina, I haven't been impressed with either. I just genuinely don't think they're that good. I think they have the most penalties in the World Cup so far. Messi is going to win the Golden Boot solely on penalties, which is annoying because I think Mbappe has put his best foot forward and generally been great. And Messi has shown glimpses of brilliance with some penalties. Like, do I sound like a hater?
Dude, you sound like a hater. Yeah, he scored 2 non-penalty kick goals and 3 penalty kicks. Like
3 penalty kicks
and 3 assists.
Okay, it's just like, dude, every time you look up, it's just like Messi penalty. Like these penalties have saved them in these games, dude.
Bro, yeah, you're really just a hater. You wanted to see Brazil move on, but they didn't do enough to win the game against Croatia. They literally just didn't. And then they got Marquinhos taking their final penalty kick, and he hits the post.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do now. But I think France has been the best team this whole World Cup. It hasn't always been like the best soccer, but you always know they're putting their team out there with the best players. And Mbappe has been awesome, right? Giroud has been awesome. Dembele's been better than expected. He's been dangerous. Griezmann's been awesome. Tchouaméni has been awesome. Their defense has been solid, right? I mean, Upamecano kind of loses it a little bit in that game, but like the rest of them have been good. I think Lloris has been shaky, so I think that's like a sneaky worry for France is that Lloris hasn't been that good. He's like kind of weird coming out and claiming crosses. But I think like this could be a 3-0 game for France. I genuinely don't think it would be that close if the game wasn't played at such a slow tempo. So I almost hope like whatever team it is scores first, like scores early, so that way it gets the game ramped up a little bit. Because other than that, this game's not going to be that good. Like France could really take it to them.
Do you like soccer, or do you just like dislike it? Like you're really just hating on the whole idea of a World Cup.
Dude, I this is how I feel, man. Like this, some of these games, like, look, dude, Morocco was a good story too, right? And they were good. They were playing some good soccer. But did anybody want to see Morocco in that game?
Moroccans.
You're right. My bad. Like, dude, upsets are great when they happen. And then you get to these games that are going to be all-timers, two great teams, and it's not there. Like, Spain in the semifinal against France would have been awesome. Portugal in the semifinal against France would have been pretty cool as well. Morocco, like, put up a good fight, so I don't give them that. But the other side of the bracket really is what's bothering me, the fact that Argentina didn't have to play it.
We get what we get, and yeah, it's just I know what you mean, like, though, because other than some group stage games, we haven't had any big games. Like that England-France game felt like a big game. It was like
I honestly think those are. Sorry, I cut you off. I think the England and France were the two best teams at that stage. Like after the other quarterfinal games have went, and we had this England-France game, I was like, this is the biggest game of the tournament right now. That's going to go down as the best game of the tournament. It didn't end, a couple penalties in a weird game. That was the highest level game we've seen.
The game of the tournament was probably the Argentina-Netherlands game.
Yeah, in terms of drama, that's another reason why I don't know. You get a penalty, you hold on to the lead, like it's a shame Messi's name doesn't ring like Ronaldo's, like Penaldo.
Do you want him to just not take the penalty kicks, just hand it off to Julian Alvarez or something?
That's another thing too. Is like, who else has no one from this Argentina team has like Alvarez had his moment, and I think Enzo Fernandez is getting the love for his moment. Maybe I'd feel different if like Di Maria did something, or like I kind of thought Lautaro Martinez was going to have a great tournament, and he hasn't done anything. He's been benched. Maybe there's like one of those that's coming, and maybe it's just the fact that everyone's hyping up. It's just it's Messi. Like I thought there'd be more to this team.
Yeah, it's just kind of been the whole tournament. Like Messi's the GOAT, Ronaldo's the GOAT. Like it's just it's just like those takes are starting to get a little annoying. Like,
and maybe that's where my hate comes from. I don't mean to be a hater. Maybe I'm just annoyed at those takes, and I'd rather see like what's the best game of football, right? Brazil Argentina is the game, or France and England's the game. U.S. Netherlands the game.
We could probably talk about this in a future podcast where we recap the whole World Cup. But thinking back right now, like what players like are like standout players in the World Cup? Any in this final game? Who do you think like moves on to a bigger team from that's going to play in this final?
Yeah, I think there's different ways to categorize it. Like you look at like an Enzo Fernandez, like that's a guy who will probably take a step up at some point.
And he was going to eventually.
Yeah.
Probably towards the end of the season.
All of these French guys are pretty much like there in terms of like at big clubs, have already taken up big moves. That's why I was hoping like Nkunku would have played this World Cup because he would have been fantastic, bro. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. Like Dembele, I think it's cool to see Dembele because he's back, man. Like remember he had those like lost years at Barca, and everyone was like, where, like what happened to him? He's always injured. He's not good. He wanted to leave Barca. Like, dude, he's so good, man.
Yeah, Xavi helped him. But I guess back to the game, like the only other point I guess from Argentina is that, like we said, if they do play a 4, it'll probably be like if France then have the ball, it'd be like a 4-4-2. block, mid block, low block, whatever. No one even presses high anymore.
No.
That's what I'm looking for in when club gets back with the Premier League. The team actually press.
Like somebody go chase the ball for like 5 seconds, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think Julian Alvarez has been really good. Obviously, we were just talking about Lautaro Martinez. I had that bet before the World Cup for him to be top scorer. I was right with the Argentinian forward angle, but wrong player. You know?
Imagine if they just evenly distributed the penalties.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were saying that you're talking about France's low block or mid block?
I was talking about Argentina.
Okay. Yeah, to me, they have, like, if France wanted to, they could put their foot on the ball and really make Argentina come get it. Like, how hard is Argentina going to go work for the ball, right? I don't think they want to put any effort into going to get it back.
Yeah, but then they got some dogs in the midfield and the defense. Argentina does. Dude, if you go in there with the ball, you're coming out like on the ground.
That's the thing, though. Like, look at what Griezmann's done so well. Griezmann will just float in and out of space, and he just pops up. He didn't even need to go dribble. It might be a run in behind, or he might just float close to someone to play a quick 1-2 and then get out of a tight spot. Like, he didn't even need the ball. And I would assume if you looked at like the advanced statistics, that would show like he could be very effective with minimal touches of the ball in those crowded areas. So look at Griezmann stretching it, and dude, Giroud's a dog. So if they want to play balls into the midfield, a lot of times Giroud would be coming back for it, whether it's hold up play or like a longer 6 kick. You go find Giroud, let Giroud battle with those guys, and then you have Griezmann floating or Mbappe floating. I like that matchup, to be honest.
Yeah, and they do most of that kind of stuff, not really in the attacking third, more towards like the middle part of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Not like at midfield, but more midfield going into the attacking half of the field, right?
Yeah.
Like you won't see Giroud drop deep, like 25 yards from goal, lay it off kind of thing, because they don't really play that much in those areas, right? Because they want to sit a little deeper, then they want to use the space in behind.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. It won't be that far up the pitch. It won't be that right on top of the 18. It will be more like when Argentina's attacking and France are transitioning to attack, that's when you'll see Griezmann pop in, do a 1-2 or something. Mm-hmm. Giroud come around, hit a ball to Mbappe around the corner or something.
And Griezmann, to start France's first goal against Morocco, he kind of drifted into like the right half space, and he got the Morocco left center back to bite when they were still in that 3 in the back there, and then like he was in behind, and then Morocco eventually like had to switch because of injury, but I don't know, maybe he finds like a dangerous pocket of space there as well, and he might have to go drag a center mid away from the middle to open up some space, because I would assume Argentina's playing with like just straight up 3 center mids in there. 3 center mids, you know.
Dude, 4 center mids, right? DePaul,
I guess they'll probably be a little bit wider on the left.
McAllister, DePaul, Fernandez. I don't expect Paredes to start. Who else has been in that role?
Well, I'm saying McAllister will probably drift wider left.
Okay. Sometimes I get them mixed up, Messi and McAllister.
They do look alike, man.
And they both have a tattoo sleeve.
There was an old meme, and it was a picture of McAllister, and it said like the Irish Messi, but I guess he wasn't Irish. He just happened to look Irish and looked like Messi. So yeah, I would the whatever is meaningful in this game isn't coming from Argentina with the ball. I would say like I think if they're gonna this brings me to my next point. I think Tchouaméni has been awesome for France. If we're talking about winning the midfield battles, Tchouaméni's been awesome. Like he's very like instinctual, and he could win the ball and go. He's played some killer through balls. But then there was also a time against Morocco, they knock one into him. It's like a 7-yard pass or so. They're building out, and he turns like on his right foot kind of casually. The ball's not like secure to him, and they just jump it and go, and they're like almost on a counterattack. And I think Varane has to like hold his ground 1v1 defending. So like maybe that's something that Argentina look for. Like it's those like transition moments, because Tchouaméni and whoever plays next to him, Fofana, Rabiot, like they're not necessarily like the possession-based center midfielders. and that's a point of weakness for them.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that. Good
And
point.
it was Tuchemeni losing the ball facing his own goal. Like Tuchemeni's dangerous, winning the ball, facing forward, going the direction he wants to go. I don't think he's quite there yet in terms of like manipulating the ball, the space, the opponent. He doesn't have that flow yet.
Yeah, he's got like the physique of Pogba, but he's just not on the. He can't be a player on the ball like Pogba is, obviously.
Yeah, and if you watch compare him to other Real Madrid center midfielders too, a little bit different than Casemiro. I think Tuchemeni covers better ground than Casemiro. But if you think of a Modric or a Kroos, you could kind of ping them the ball in any situation, and they'll keep it, and they're always they have the most class in that midfield no matter who they play. Tuchemeni's not that player. He might have the most ability doing something with it, but he can't control the space in build-up. So maybe that's where they kind of try to funnel things toward the middle and jump them there. And Mbappe and Dembele staying wide, I think, pins the Argentina fullbacks back a little bit, and and takes away the width from Argentina.
Yeah, that's what you got to look out for as soon as the lineups drop. How many center backs are Argentina playing? Because people have been saying that they might play 3.
I think that's stupid.
They've been playing 2, so.
Yeah, to me that seemed like a very reactionary thing from Morocco to be like, oh, they play with wide wingers, so let's put wingbacks back there to, mark them. I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to give Hakimi some room to run and some freedom to go, but I would have just kind of stuck with whatever was working. Because you see the rhythm of the left center back that steps out and Griezmann turns him for that goal. It's a bad step. He had cover there. But maybe he's not comfortable making that step. Maybe he thinks he can go because he has more cover there, but he's been playing all tournament without that cover there. Know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I guess. Back to I forgot to mention this. I don't know if you noticed it in the Morocco-France game. Amrabat has been obviously basically the key player for Morocco. People have been hyping him up. I didn't think he played very well against France. And at one point, Stu Holden pointed it out that Giroud was just sitting on Amrabat. Even though Dembele was high in defense, still high, Mbappe was still high, Giroud was dropping everywhere Amrabat went, just following him. So I don't know if they try that again against Argentina because they kind of shut down Amrabat. I personally didn't think Amrabat had that good of a game.
Mark
Enzo
Fernandez out of the game a little bit.
Yeah, Mark Enzo.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Giroud is the dog to go in that midfield and win those battles, and maybe it lets a second ball carrier from midfield lets Griezmann float a little bit. And I wasn't that high on Griezmann coming in. He's kind of been not that great for club, and maybe this is just the perfect role for him, to be honest. He's not a true number 10, playing central off the striker. He's more leaning towards the right side of the field. But he runs in behind when he needs to. He goes to combine when he needs to. It's a really good balance they have.
Yeah, like I said before the World Cup, balanced teams are going to do well.
It's really just international teams are, especially at this World Cup, it's been such a slow tempo of games and without a real system either. And I think what we're seeing is that experience in these World Cups and older players have done well. Morocco is fairly experienced, Croatia very experienced, and they could dig. I'm sure they lose fitness as the tournament goes on. But they have that knowledge, the experience, the ability to play in these international games, which is completely different from, club. Like the U.S. had a young team; they're all pretty talented. I think in the next World Cup they'll be better. One, because they get better, but two, they're not just the young guys at the tournament.
Yeah, no wonder why
it's a different game.
It's such a good tournament. So no wonder why Tim Ream had such a good tournament.
Yeah, it's the tournament of the old heads, man. Like Argentina, like Otamendi's having a great tournament. He's just an old head.
Yeah. Some players just step up when it's international time.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that we could try to, like, we've already kind of predicted the rosters, but like there could be 2 or 3 guys out for France that we didn't expect originally. That would stink.
Yeah, we'll probably hear more too in the next couple of days. What's your prediction?
I do think both teams are going to score because at some point, I just think it. I think it's like 3-1 France.
3-1? You said it was going to be a boring game. That's a great game.
No. It could be a boring. Like I think France
exciting.
gets like a. I think France gets like a comfortable 2-0 lead, and like they probably make it 3-0 at some point, and then like Argentina gets one back. It's probably a penalty.
I don't know, dude. I think this Argentina team just fights for Messi, dude. They'll do anything. I'm going 2-1 Argentina.
Really?
Yep.
In what phase of the game has Argentina been better than France, though? Like, just based on this tournament. Like, I get it's your prediction how you match up, but if we're looking at these like moments of the game, I don't know if Argentina's been better than France at anything. Right?
It's like that's just hard to compare. Like you really did just put me on the spot, but I don't know how you compare the two right there. They haven't played each other.
I'm just saying, like, defending, I trust France.
You France is this almighty team that's just runs through teams. They really have not.
Dude, and what do you mean they have? They have.
Australia was the first game. They let up a goal first. Second game, I forget. I forget the second game. Third game, they lost to Tunisia.
Wait, the same Australia that had Argentina on the ropes in the last 30 seconds? Should have been probably the easiest knockout round game anyone will ever play is that Argentina versus Australia game. And Argentina was so casual and so slow with it.
Bro, it was basically a 2-0 game. They got a goal at the end, right? Then it finished.
And then it could have been it should have been a 2-2 game though. That's the thing. Maybe I'll call it a 2-1 game to make it a little less exciting. If 3-1's too exciting.
Yeah. I'm calling 2-1 Argentina.
Who scores the goals?
We'll see. Messi.
Oh, they got a penalty, huh? Who got the foul?
Oh my gosh. That's the 2 non-penalty kick goals he scored were fantastic. Like fantastic. So you can't say anything about it. I'll go Messi and Alvarez.
No, dude, you're really going out on a limb there. Who scores for France?
Who scores for France?
Yeah. Oh, Kylian Mbappe.
Giroud.
Oh, there we go. Finally, some respect for my boy.
Yeah.
Giroud's been great this tournament, man. It's crazy, dude. Like, France have 5 or 6 world-class players that just aren't with the squad because of injury. Benzema and Cuckoo.
It doesn't come down to who has the better players at this point. This is a final, World Cup final, bro. It's whichever. It sounds corny, but whichever team just like is going to.
I got you. I'm thinking of these more in like general, like broader terms. And I get it.
Sorry, I just think Argentina has the players to just disrupt whatever France want to do, just because they're that group of players.
They want it more. Come on, boys. First and second balls.
They 100% want it more.
Is that the difference? I don't like you said. I feel like I don't have a whole lot more takes to give on this game. I'm sure in 3 months we're gonna be like, man, I miss the World Cup. I miss the games every day. I generally think the beginning of the World Cup and the group games, like, was some of the most fun I've had watching soccer. Like, the games were pretty good. There was a few good storylines. As the tournament has gone on, it's really died down for me. Maybe it was the U.S. losing. Maybe it's just I wanted certain teams and certain matchups so badly that like when I didn't get them, I pouted about it. I don't know.
Dude, go watch basketball. Go watch football. If you're not happy with the World Cup, then we don't have to give you the World Cup.
Dude, it's a podcast. What do you want me to say?
That's crazy, dude. I heard they're thinking about switching the World Cup in 26 because they heard that you don't like the World Cup.
Dang, they might give it to Argentina if they win. They're giving them everything else. They're giving them every penalty they want. So, I also look at it this way, right? That Mexico game, Mexico sucked this World Cup. Mexico was terrible, and that game was so bad, so boring. Like the quality of play from both teams, just like poorly executed technical decisions. Like it was slow. It was bleh. Like that game, that was Argentina. And just because they turn it on and fight a little bit harder in these knockout round games, that haven't been that much of a challenge for them, to be honest. Like the Netherlands were good; they have good players, and I think the Dutch took it to them a little bit, and that was the toughest game Argentina has played so far. Argentina have played the Netherlands. That's it. Australia, easy. Croatia, I think in that spot, tired legs, 2 penalty shootouts, easy game. I think we can agree with that, right? Not saying they could just walk all over them. And their group was very easy. Poland was very bad. It was Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did they do against Poland? 2-0? I think it's 2-0.
I don't
They beat
know this score.
Poland 2-0, Mexico 2-0, lost to Saudi Arabia. I just think France's body of work has been more impressive. And I don't think they've played the best that they could yet either.
Were they just going to switch it on for the last game or something?
Yes.
They don't have a whole lot of time. They have literally 48 hours.
As long as this virus runs its course, we're good. Anything else from this game, or what are you thinking?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I win money if France wins, but if Argentina wins, I love Messi, so that'd be pretty sweet.
And I feel like this has been a fairly, for me at least, a fairly negative, hot-takey podcast. So I think we need...
Very negative.
We need one... we need a positive, tactical breakdown podcast after the final. These are just my initial thoughts, venting about what I wanted to see in the World Cup that I haven't seen.
Yeah, once you set... This is directed at you. Once you set your opinion on something, you rarely, change it. Like a team, once you set your opinion on, oh, dude, this Argentina team's boring. There's nothing special about them. You never end up changing your opinion.
Well, if there's new information to change my opinion, then I will.
So not much. Well, even if Argentina go out and win, you're still going to come on and be negative probably about Argentina. So
we'll see. It is easy. I feel like every final for the past 5 years, I've hyped myself up for every Champions League final, every World Cup final, Euro final, and they're all fairly boring. I think the England-Italy Euro final was pretty good, but the Croatia-France game was like a slugfest in the final. The Champions League finals are often kind of like that, so we'll see. Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. A little bit shorter of an episode here.
Who do you think finishes in third place?
Morocco.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think they'll probably play a stronger team, and I think maybe Croatia. I think they'll probably play their strongest team, but then get sub these guys out or whatever. I don't think they're gonna let them run the whole time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if the third place game is really that necessary, to be honest.
Yeah, it is probably the most useless game in the tournament. Not useless,
in theory, you get in the Olympics and it's, you win a bronze medal. So in theory, it's cool to finish third rather than fourth. But at the World Cup, I just think the in the Olympics, it's like you're fighting for that bronze medal. In something like soccer, it's more of the heartbreak not making the final.
Yeah. Hey, it's extra soccer to watch, so I'm not
Free
complaining.
soccer.
Yeah.
Just like how Argentina, Croatia, they've given us so much extra soccer by going into extra time with these teams.
Yep.
All right, cool. We good?
Yep.
All right, so this was it episode 51. If you're still listening, please just rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. I checked those recently. We have some good ratings, and all of the podcast stuff I read say it really helps like grow the podcast. Like the algorithms rely on that stuff, so it'd be a big help.
And send it to your buddies.
Yeah, your buddies.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.